What it is, what it do, y'all. Welcome to the show that's cool and fly too. And you already know I got somebody super smooth with me, and we about to get into some hot topics about the Atlanta Falcons. And we just want to know, do you trust the front office of the Atlanta Falcons? We'll get into it in 15 seconds.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
Yes, sir. A1 Forever Sports, Smitty Sports Machine. We here once again, man. Smitty, tell them how you doing, man.
Hey man, I'm doing all right as usual, man. Ready to drop this content, man. And if y'all catching this video, man, please go to Smitty Sports Machine or A1 Forever. Hit that subscribe button. Also go to the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's your third wheel of the triple threat. So you can catch all three of us on that channel, those channels. And trust me, we're gonna keep bringing you the content. And also catch Burger on Bleacher Report, man. So y'all just keep tuned in because we're gonna always bring y'all topics that people scared talk about and hot, just hot news all the time. So
all the time,
keep that YouTube thing, just keep it rolling.
Yeah, man. Keep that notification bell handy because we're gonna be dropping content that's also swell and dandy. You dig it? So yeah, man. Welcome to the show, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not necessarily a live, but we definitely had a conversation and we want to share it with you guys. And I want to know, how much do you guys trust the Atlanta Falcons front office? And it's just misfires that we've had. I will start with something that's kind of give or take. All depends on how you're looking at it, especially current day. Deshaun Watson. Now, he was definitely on the Falcons' doorstep, and then boom, Cleveland outbids you. What happens after that? 3 first rounders and a third and a fourth rounder, and 230 million guaranteed reasons why to sign. Cleveland Browns have Deshaun Watson. Now, what trickled down to the Atlanta Falcons from that, we already know Matt Ryan was up out of here. There was no way we could possibly bring in Matt Ryan and smooth that over anyway, even if we wanted to, after that trade was attempted. So you miss out on Deshaun. Yeah, you miss out on Deshaun, and you also lose your franchise quarterback, who was at the door anyway, but you end up with Marcus Mariota. What your thoughts on that?
There was some bullshit at the end of the day.
Yeah. There you go. So
I've been on the fence about that Deshaun Watson trade, but after looking at it, man, it made a lot of sense. Because as you think about what they have right now, they have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. This is probably a Super Bowl team. And one thing I've said about veteran quarterbacks, no matter what the offensive play caller call, they're the one on the field looking at the defense and see what's going on. So they can make changes any point of the game. If the coach get mad, he get mad. But think about it. If you execute and do the things that you're supposed to do, I think Deshaun Watson wouldn't have been a bad move. Now, we may have not have gotten Bijan Robinson, but there were other running backs out there that we could have got to fill that other spot. So that wouldn't have been a problem.
But I know we were speaking.
But, that Deshaun Watson, man, I still hate that we missed out on him.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, I was just saying, I know you were saying you feel like the Cleveland Browns don't even fit Deshaun Watson. Man, I know, honestly, I'm looking at his numbers.
And I think
I'm looking at his numbers, man. And I'm just saying everything is down from how it was in Houston. And Houston just wasn't he didn't have world beater teams over there either. He had good players, but they didn't really win anything. So I'm looking at Cleveland, and everything is down. So everything is down. Interceptions are up. Completion percentages, succession rates, everything down in Cleveland. Is it a possibility the guy may just have too many weapons? And did the Atlanta Falcons actually dodge a bullet, considering the fact that he is out for the season right now?
I don't think they have too many weapons. I just think the execution is just not there. And then you lose Nick Chubb, who was a big part of the offense, to open up the play action and no huddle and stuff with his running ability. I think the only reason why it is now, to me, I think Njoku is a little bit overrated. Then you have Donovan Peoples who got traded, and Amari Cooper and those guys. But you still have Kareem Hunt. Don't get me wrong. But I just think the Falcons would have had better talent around him.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. But like you said, wouldn't have Bijan Robinson because again, they gave up. Well, honestly, let me dial that back. Because when you think about it, whatever we did have in place, Cleveland had to trump what we had in place. So they gave them three first rounders, gave them a third rounder, and a fourth rounder. We don't even know what
so
the Falcons.
I think the Falcons were just 2 first round picks and maybe a third. If I'm guessing, if I got to guess, yeah,
I can definitely see that. But regardless, that's another thing we got to factor in too. Whatever we did have in place, they had to leapfrog that to make it a better deal, a sweeter deal. And then, of course, we don't know also what we was going to pay Deshaun Watson, but we just know that they gave him $230 million guaranteed reasons on why to sign with that franchise.
I think we were in the 170 range, 180, somewhere in there for 5 years. But when you talking about 230 guarantee, you're not going to top that. And I was looking at it last night. He's owed $46 million a year for the next 4 years. So
yeah. Woo. So it's almost in a sense, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of money. And then right now, regardless of what happened, we don't know. He comes down to Atlanta. Maybe he doesn't get injured. Maybe he does. Regardless, it's just something to spark the conversation. That it's a possibility. Hey, he come down here. Maybe he stunts. What you got?
The positive out of it all with Cleveland, you have quarterbacks making upwards of $55 million now, so they're not at the top of the class anymore. So that may be a little bit of relief.
And shoot, man, it still regardless look like a bad trade for that franchise right now because they gave up all that.
But it is the Browns.
And their franchise still not going. Yeah, indeed. And they've given up all this, and they still have nothing to show for it. And you think about it too, just real quick, dating back in their history between trades and transactions between these two franchises, it always seemed like they came up on the short end of the stick anyway. When we're involved.
Facts.
Alex Mack, the trade to move up for Julio, it's a lot. There's a lot going on with that. But I know you tell me about a draft pick that you feel like the Atlanta Falcons missed out on. And like I know we've talked about them before, but just because this for the argument of the conversation and the topic, man, just from that, what you thinking?
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one draft pick, but if I had to choose one, and there's no slight to Bijan Robinson because he's a great player. Jalen Carter, man, I'm still looking at that, but that's neither here nor there. But when I look at Michael Parsons is the one that got away because I think he could have helped turn his defense around much faster. They would have had that playmaker on defense that we still looking for. And I think in a 3-4 offense, and you see it in Dallas, 3-4 offense, stand up outside linebacker. He one of the fastest, one of the quickest, has the moves, and he can drop back and cover and play zone pretty good. So I think Michael Parsons is probably the one that really, really got away. If I'm looking at the last 3 to 4 years, I say Michael Parsons all day because this dude has almost 30 sacks already. So.
He had 3 yesterday.
Right.
He had 3 in that Dallas game against the Carolina Panthers. He had 3 that game. So, and I believe on the season for 2023, as this video is being recorded, he has 10 and a half. I think 10 and a half sacks now.
I'm checking right now. Right now. So, as we look at Michael Parsons, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. To me, he's a modern day Lawrence Taylor, and a lot of people got mad when I said that. But when you look at the agility, the speed, the quickness, and he strikes fear into defenses. As I'm looking at his stats now, he has 37 tackles, 10 sacks already, 1 forced fumble, and 2 pass defense. So he's doing his thing, man. So yeah, that's one that I thought got away, man. I'm gonna stick to that.
Indeed. Hey, definitely understand that, man. Just for the argument's sake,
Because
just another thing that
as we talked about. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. As
Go
we
ahead.
did talk about, and I just want to go back to March 12th of this year, and I know we're gonna be talking about numbers here, and I'm prepared for that. But the Los Angeles Rams, when they agreed to send their star cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins for a 2020 third round pick. 2023 third round pick and and also tight end Hunter Long. I feel like the Atlanta Falcons missed out on that opportunity right there. But and don't get me wrong, yeah, he got injured. That's cool. I don't care about that. Because at the end of the day, I know what player I'm getting.
Right.
And Jalen Ramsey, he signed that contract. I believe he is still due. He's due 17 million in 2023, 17 and a half in 2024, 19.5 in 2025.
Yep.
Now, some people would say, "Oh, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that." But I tell you one thing, we're going to have a conversation about our star cornerback, AJ Terrell, very, very soon. So my whole
we're gonna
thing
bring that
is
to y'all very, very soon.
exactly. It's just like, do you trust him? Do you trust him? Because how do you let something like that go out? And you could have had Jalen Ramsey eventually with AJ Terrell. And again, we don't know what happens. Just because it happened to him down there in Miami, it might have not happened here. It might have done. It might have did. Either way it go, I still want the player, and still would like to solidify one side of the defense, and then you have AJ Terrell over here. That's no knock to Jeff Okudah, because I am definitely happy that we have him. But we're just talking about dating back on misses. At that particular time, there was no Jeff Okudah. We didn't know what we were fit to do. So at that position,
Right.
solidifying it at that particular time on March 12th, 2023, I absolutely wanted Jalen Ramsey because he was already going to get traded. I was like, man, get him in Atlanta. We had money to spend. We had plenty of money to spend too at that particular time too. So you bring him in. I understand maybe another move or two not be made, but I don't care,
Right.
man. That's Jalen Ramsey. I mean, am I crazy, Smitty?
No, and the way I see it, man, as I look at the top teams in the league, one thing that I'm starting to notice with these trends the last 3-4 years, these teams are going after superstar players. And they don't have to give up a lot to get them. And the key to it is go out and get a player that's probably on the last year of his rookie deal. And if you're a win now team, go see what they can do in the off season. If it's just a 5th or 6th round pick, you don't worry about it, because we all know with that 2nd and 3rd round pick, you can always trade back and get that pick back. So when you talk about guys like Jalen Ramsey, who went from Los Angeles to Miami. Then you talk about other guys who moved on. Darius Slay going to the Eagles. When you're building a championship team and a win now team, you just got to make these kind of deals. And I just haven't seen the Falcons do that. And I've never seen them do that in the middle of the season. One guy that comes to mind, and I did a video on this, and that's Isaiah Simmons. What is the Falcons' weakness right now? Linebacker.
August 24th.
Right. So when you have a linebacker need, why not go out and get a young guy? If you can't pay him, you just let him go on out the door, and you just recoup that pick in the draft. And they got him for a 7th round pick, and that was crazy.
Yep. So he was traded to the Giants for a 7th round pick. And again, he made a big play yesterday as well, had a pick 6 in that Giants game. I'm talking about
and that's what I talked about. Was his
completely different
versatility.
Giants team yesterday.
Right. You talk about a guy that can play outside linebacker, rush the passer, inside linebacker, drop back in coverage, safety, play in the box, drop back in coverage. So I think Isaiah Simmons, man, that was a big time blow for the Atlanta Falcons, man, not going out and try to get that kid. Because I wanted him out of Clemson, but since we have the need at linebacker, he would have been the perfect fit, man.
Yeah, because at that time when he was out there, we knew we wasn't going to go up that high to try to get him when he was drafted at that particular time. But yeah, I wanted Simmons too as well. I seen what he possibly could be with the right coach and the right fit and scheme and everything. But yeah, I thought the Falcons dropped the ball right there. They could have definitely brought him in, and he could have been producing right now. I really
And
believe so,
see,
especially with the recent
I
injuries to the Falcons too.
I understand about the money standpoint at the end of the season of not being able to resign him. But like I
Right,
said, if your job on the line and you want to win now, you still got to build that team. And who knows? If he's safe, if he's excited to be in this environment in Atlanta, he may take a little
right.
bit of a discount in order for you to sign other players. So
Yeah, you
you got
just
to
don't
take a
know.
chance sometimes. Because what if Grady or what if AJ can just, talk to him and tell him, hey, man, we're trying to build this. And we're
Right,
going to take a little bit less money. And so if you can take a little bit less money, we can bring this thing together. And players do that all the time.
all the time.
So as I think about it, man, I think that was Isaiah Simmons. They dropped the ball on that one.
Yep, definitely dropped the ball on it. And I want to go into another one. I know you mentioned Jalen Carter before, and we
Mm,
may can kind of we this right here. Can we just go ahead and just say that these two players are going to be linked for the Falcons, just because it's always
yeah,
going to be made that you could have went and got Jalen Carter, especially what he's
right.
doing in Philadelphia, and it's not going unnoticed. What he's doing in Philadelphia, he's rushing the passer, he's trying to help in the run game, he's doing it all, man, and he's looking good doing it for them. And Bijan is just when we do see him, he does show that he was the best running back in the draft, like we've both said before. But it's
Right.
just hard, man. It's hard. It's almost like Trey and Luca. It's almost like Trey Young and Luka Doncic. They're always going to be linked because they were traded for each other. But
Facts.
this right here, you could have went and got him, and you didn't. And you could have went and got him, and you didn't. He was right
Well,
there
they,
on the
they, they,
board.
they didn't have to go get him. He fell in their lap. Right, right,
That's why I said, well, that's what I'm saying. He
so,
was right there on the board.
right.
And honestly, I remember even saying, I was like, yep, we're getting Jalen Carter, y'all. We feel to get Jalen Carter. I remember saying to a couple friends, and then I heard Bijan Robinson, and I was like, what? And and I had to really just think about what they may have been thinking, and of course, strengthening the run game. But you see how the season is playing out. So, boy, it just goes back, and I already know these two players are
Yeah,
going to be
he's
linked. Going to be linked. Talking about Jalen Carter.
yeah, he has 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in 8 games. Yeah, and 16 tackles, 5 tackle for losses. So, he's putting up decent numbers. And sometimes the stats don't show what he's doing on the field because you talk about a guy that can plug run lane, that can set the edge,
Right.
and he can get off to the quarterback. So he's one of those guys. I think if you add him, you put more years on the other end of Grady Jarrett's career. Because as
Yeah.
I've said, man, with what we've got now, who knows? We could be looking at a lot of change this offseason, man, because of money, cap issues. We don't want to go back in that direction. So somebody's not going
Right.
to get paid and somebody's not going to be here next year.
Right.
I don't know who it is, but I just see it coming.
And going back to the Isaiah Simmons thing, I mean, regardless, like I said, he was traded for a 7th-round pick. So regardless, it was going to be a pick that you may not even miss. Even if you do make the trade and can't sign him, it's still a trip pick that you won't really miss, man. It's a high round pick. But another guy that the Falcons possibly
Right.
could have went and got was on October 6th when Randy Gregory. Next thing you know, he's a 49er. And what for a 2024 6th-round pick. So, another guy who could have helped your pass rush in some type of way, a guy who
Yeah.
would have came in here with Grady and Calais. And this was before Grady went down. So it's just I'm just saying, man, it's just more things, more players that the Falcons, misfired on. It was a swing and a miss. It could have made something excuse me, could have made something happen,
Right.
but didn't. And then you already know what happened on I call this Halloween Havoc, pretty much when on October 31st when Montez Sweat when he got traded, man, Montez Sweat, he got traded for the higher ranked second round. Now I know a lot of people are going
Right.
to say I don't want to give no first round for Montez Sweat, and I
Right.
definitely understand that. I definitely understand that, but at the end of the day, too, is it in this pass rush? Is I mean, this draft right here, is it going to be a pass rusher draft? I mean, I don't necessarily see that, but regardless, you got outbidded again
Now
right here.
this draft would yeah this draft with these edge rushers, this upcoming draft in 2024 is nowhere near as talented as the last 2 to 3 drafts. So this offseason they got to make a move. Brian Barnes may hit the market. And as I've said in previous videos, I don't think Carolina can turn down
Right.
the first. And that's the only way I would give up my first round pick if I'm going after a guy like Brian Burns. Because when you talk about Montez Sweat and us going after him, I think Brian Burns probably would be a better fit because he's better against the run. So
Yeah.
this coming offseason, man, like I said, you're gonna see a lot of changes. And with Bud Free and Calais Campbell 1-year deals, we can still get edge rushes in the draft. And we still have Everketty and Malone. So yeah, I could see Brian Burns come here in the offseason.
And these are two guys who people honestly forget about, though, too, Smitty. People forget we got Arnold Albuquerque. We got legends that have forgotten that we got Arnold Albuquerque. And then you also D'Angelo Malone. I'm talking about.
Right.
I've been looking for Malone. It's hard finding Malone, man. It's like trying to find Wells Waldo, man. Like you never see the guy like that. And then even on special teams, you have to really just look. You have to really just look at them like, oh, there go Malone. It's just like so with those two guys,
right?
Those two guys, people forget about them, but they're not being used properly. I don't believe so, man. I mean, what else could it be at this point? Is it
Now,
just not
because
panning out?
well, I'm telling with that last game against Arizona, we know D'Angelo Malone is the fastest defensive end on the team. Why don't you have him on the field to set the edge to help KG and Kyler Murray? I think if they that this game could have went in another direction. Sometimes it's just about using common sense and it's about matchups on the football field.
Oh man, it's always about matchups, but obviously the coaching staff don't feel like he's ready for all that. They don't feel like he would be able to set those edges or be able to plug those lanes. So I mean, what else could it be? Because he's been nothing but special teams, nothing but or situational to where someone else is injured, and then I'm talking about 2 or 3 people being injured too. You rarely see the guy. So that's why I like when another guy
one
like
game
Chase
that he played.
What you said? What now?
One game that he played in last year that I think he showed he belongs with the Cincinnati game that they got blowed out. He showed a lot of promise in that game. And for some reason, he did not hit the field probably 2 or 3 times the rest of the year. So that made no sense to me.
It's a possibility. We may still have another coaching issue. And then plus when a guy like Chase Young, I know he has injury issues, but they gave up a 3rd rounder for him. I mean, I'm just saying, these draft picks, they're hit or miss anyway, especially when you start getting into the higher rounds. So once I get past to 3rd, 4th, and 5th round on beyond, I'd be like, okay, I can kind of do without it. If I miss on a stud, okay, I just know what I'm getting in the trade right now if I'm trying to win right now. And then you also have a guy named JPP. He was out there. I want to sign with a contender. Set to who the contender is going to be. And then what happens? November 16th. This man has signed with the New Orleans Saints, and most likely we're going to see him this coming Sunday. So another misfire because the team's not winning. If we at the top of the division, he comes to the Atlanta Falcons regardless, y'all.
Facts.
Because he signed with the Saints.
Yeah.
So another misfire, if you ask me, man. And it's just misfire after misfire here and there through the draft, through the trade scenarios, and just guys becoming available. So that's why I just wanted to have this whole session right here. I just want to know, do you And do anyone who watches this video trust the front office? Me personally, I think Rich McKay, it's time to say have a good day. And you've supposed to really been gone, but you've been hanging around, and I understand why. I understand the relationships. I understand the business, but
Right.
it's time to move forward because this
But like
whole
my boy
coaching
John
thing.
said with Rich McKay, he doing more in New York than he is in Atlanta in the
See there?
NFL front office. So you got to be here. And like I've said, and if y'all follow me, y'all have heard me say this before. He helped build a championship team in Tampa Bay. What's the problem in Atlanta? I don't get it.
Yep, you just absolutely right. It just seems like they just don't care about us as much as they do about other franchises, man. And it's just time to get people in here who want the Atlanta Falcons, who want this regime, who want this talent to go to the next level. If you ask me, man, I'm just tired of
And
missing out on guys. Yeah,
let me
tired of
say this
missing
right
out on
quick.
guys. Go ahead.
Let me say this right quick. And now that I look at it and I look back on it, with Tampa Bay, you talk about Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, John Lynch, and Rondé Barber.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the last two drafts, you missed out on Michael Parsons, that's Derrick Brooks, Jalen Carter, which was Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, we have AJ Terrell already, and then
Mm-hmm.
John Lynch. They went out and got Jesse Bates. Same type defense. So
Right.
you could have built that same type defense in Atlanta, but spending all the picks on offense. And I get it. You building on offense because you've lost a lot over the last 5-6 years on offense. I get it. But at the
Right.
same time, defense has always been your weakness. Why not build on your weakness first and then go to the other side of the ball? Because this year,
Right.
the pass rush class is not deep. This year, you must
That's the
go get a
whole.
new left tackle. You must go get a new left tackle, or you must go get a franchise quarterback. It's one of the two. There's no way around it.
See there, leaving the Atlanta Falcons in quite a bind situation. You gotta hope that things just fall into your place for the rest of the season, and especially in the
Right.
off season, because it's definitely going to be some moves, and we may see some new faces and see some loved, familiar faces out the door, and that's what people just got to get themselves mentally prepared for. That you may not have a AJ Terrell, you may not have a Grady Jarrett, or some of the people who signed 1 year deals may not even be back. 1 and 2 year deals may not even be back as well. So
Right.
it's definitely going to be a shakeup. We just hoping that it all shakes out right for the Atlanta Falcons, man. All the way around, from the front office all the way down to the players.
Facts.
Yes, sir, man. But yeah, like Smitty said, we're gonna have another video coming for you guys as well, man, discussing our top star on the defense when it comes to the secondary, Mr. AJ Terrell. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. But be
Right.
generational because it's always time to be. Don't you settle for less because you can always have more with the vision. And be generational because it's always time to be. Hit that like, subscribe to A1 Forever Sports, and of course to my main man, Smooth Smitty. And hey, we're gonna be right back at you. Smitty, go ahead and talk to the people real quick.
Hey man, like you said, man, catch us on our platforms. Please go and subscribe. Keep that notification on because we always dropping content. And like you said, man, we got some gems coming for y'all, man. Because we just sit around and talk sometimes, and these topics just come up. And sometimes people ask us, and AJ Terrell topic. One of my followers asked me today, and me and Chris was just talking about it last night. So
Crazy.
y'all think y'all on the same frequency we on. See, that's why we always have y'all on in the chat room because we always try to get y'all vibes and things. It always gives us a great idea to do these videos. So as he said, please go to A1 Forever. Please go to Smitty Sports Machine, 95 North Falcons Talk Show for all great Falcons content. Uncle Steve's Lounge, Big Low Country Sports.
Sir.
We just in there, man. We in here doing our thing, man.
Oh yeah, man. We definitely doing our thing. And until next time, peace and blessing. And we will holler. You did.